That way all the critics can jump out and start attacking. But that way you don't have to debate them anymore. We're bringing everything we got to this game, and we are playing, and I don't care what it looks like and where it's at or who's this, who's that. We're going out to play and win this game out on the West Coast. So there you go.
Dan Campbell addressing the glitch, the reality, the complication in the last 2 weeks of the season, that if the Vikings win against the Packers on Sunday, Monday night's game between the Lions and the 49ers means nothing because it's still winner-take-all the following week at Ford Field. And you're talking about going to San Francisco, short week, team that really isn't playing for much at this point, but they got some talented players, and they might want to try to rise up and have one good game in prime time, like one of these lesser bowl games we see, give you a hard time, beat you around a little bit. You got short week, flight home. There's an argument to be made for being smart with your players, Rodney, for keeping them healthy. And all it takes is one key injury, and I'm not going to name names and jinx anyone, but you get one key injury to one key player in a meaningless game that complicates your ability to win the following week. You're going to wish you'd rested your starters. So I don't know what the right answer is, but with the Lions, I feel like they never take a step back from their default position. We're always aggressive. We always go for it. We always do this. We always do that. I think at certain moments, you just got to take a step back and say, are we sure this is the right thing to do? Okay, it is. We're going to do it anyway, or maybe it isn't. But they're so driven by their identity that I think they aren't as strategic as maybe they need to be.
Well, a lot of it, comes down to him and Coach Campbell. He's emotional about a lot of decisions, but I think he's right in this situation. You got to build mental and physical and emotional toughness, and this is the way you do it. I'm telling my team, hey, guys, we've been dealt a tough hand. We got to go on the West Coast. We got to play. We got to come back in a short week and play. And I talked to Coach Dungy, and he said, I said, Coach, what would you do in a situation like this? He told me, he says, I think I would tell my team that we're going to play both games for 2 weeks. We got to put the hammer down, and then we're gonna walk away with the bye. So even Coach Dungy, I just wanted to kind of get the mindset of a Super Bowl winning coach, and he says, hey, we have to play these 2 games. And that's how you instill toughness, mental and physical and emotional toughness on your team. And like Coach Coach Campbell said, we don't care. We don't care what it looks like. We're going all in. And that's the way it's supposed to be, Mike. If you got a really good team and you believe in your pieces, you're going to have guys hurt. You just fill in those other pieces and you keep it moving, because now it eliminates a lot of those distractions.
They've already had a lot of injuries, though. That's the problem. They're at their critical mass of defensive injuries. I don't know how many more injuries they can take on either side of the ball. It's a calculated risk. Well, no, it's not. See, that's my problem with it. It's not a calculated risk. It's just damn the torpedoes. This is what we always do. We never stop and think about it. That's how they got themselves in trouble.
That's their personality, though, Mike. That's what got them to the point where they're at right now.
I know, but sometimes that might keep you from getting as far as you want to go. At some point, maybe you need to take a step back and say, do I need to do something differently from what I've always done in this moment? Situational football, Rodney.
They haven't been here before.
Football.
They haven't really been here before.
But it doesn't matter. Maybe I need to do something differently. Maybe I shouldn't go for it on 4th and 2 when all I need is a 48-yard field goal to go back up 17 points with 7.5 minutes left in the third quarter of the NFC Championship and not open the door for the 49ers to come back and win the game. Why'd we go for it? Because that's what we do. My point is, and you played for one of the most strategic coaches of all time. He always had a plan. And it wasn't, that's just the way I always do things. He changed what he did every single week to meet the opponent. He didn't have any one way of doing things other than I'm going to do whatever I have to do to win this game.
Yeah, you talk about Bill Belichick, arguably the greatest coach of all time, compared to Dan Campbell, a guy that's still learning. He's still growing as a coach. I like his approach. I know at times he has to be a little bit more calculated, and maybe they should have some discussions on some fake punts and going for it on 4th down at times. And he's a little emotional, but at the end of the day, this is who they are. And like he said, hey, we're bringing everything we got. We got to play this football game. And nobody cares about the excuses. Everybody gets hurt. This is the National Football League. Nobody cares about. I'm just saying. I understand what you're saying, Mike.
I know.
But I'm just saying to develop that mindset with this team and let him know, because he doesn't want to say, well, guys, we're going to San Francisco and we're just going to rest, guys, because we don't want. No, you're playing scared. You're sending a message out there that we're playing scared. That's what it is in the National Football League, Mike. You got to play these guys.
Right. And look, if they take a step back and analyze the situation and decide that's the best course, that's fine. My concern is there's too much of the hard-headed, stubborn, run into the wall. Sometimes the wall wins if you keep running into a wall. And he's exactly what the Lions needed to reverse decades of just not good enough, not even close to good enough. They had flashes, but it was never good enough, and they needed that toughness, that grit that embodies Detroit. They're the perfect
So let's change it now all of a sudden
reflection.
because Florio's nervous. Let's change what we do because Florio's nervous that we're going to pick up another injury.
I'm not. All I'm saying is I think the Belichick approach, which has led to 6 Super Bowl championships as a head coach, there's something to be said for that because I think there's a moment where you have to have the self-awareness to say what we did to get here may not be the thing that gets us here. We're happy we're here because we haven't been here ever before. We want to get to here. Do we just keep banging our head against the wall and hope that happens, or do we take a more deliberate strategic approach? That's all I'm saying.
Mike, we were 16-0. We were 12-0, 13-0, 14-0, and we didn't think about resting at all. We didn't think about resting. So you talk about Belichick.
Because you're trying to go undefeated. He wanted to go undefeated.
But my point was this. Ever since I've been there, the message has been the same. Guys, don't look at the score. I don't care if it's 41-3 and we're winning and it's the fourth quarter with 3 minutes left. I want everybody helmets on. I want everybody shoulder pads on. We're not celebrating. Expect to go back in the game. So my point is coaches do those type of things to develop a mindset. This is not a Super Bowl winning team. They're trying to figure out how to get to the Super Bowl, how to take that next step, how to get to that next level. And Dan Campbell, he's trying to do it through toughness. And, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But this is the way he knows he's had a lot of success and they've been doing a great job.
What do you think about them bringing back Teddy Bridgewater when Teddy retired to go coach high school football? He was successful, won a championship with his alma mater, turned around a team that was 4-6 last year, won it all, and now he's back on a depth chart that already has Hendon Hooker backing up Jared Goff.
If I was Hendon Hooker, I would be furious. I would be absolutely furious. This is a kid that worked his butt off to get back, to get healthy, and not to have this opportunity, especially against a guy that's been coaching high school football. I know Teddy's a veteran. He's been there. He's done a bunch of different things. But to me, I'm Hendon Hooker. After the season, I'm asking to be released, to be traded, because they just paid Jared Goff. And this is a kid, Mike, I'm telling you, you look at a lot of these rookie quarterbacks out here, he's better than those guys. This is a guy that when he was at Tennessee, he was right there at the Heisman. He was a Heisman finalist. He was the best player in college football. He can run, he can throw the ball, he's smart, he played a lot of football, but this is a direct slap in the face, and I was very disappointed when I heard about them signing Teddy Bridgewater.
Dan Campbell said yesterday it's not a reflection on Hooker. He's been the primary backup all year. Campbell said that he's gotten a little bit better each week. He said the playoffs are a different world when citing the value of Teddy Bridgewater's experience. So at least he is being strategic about that. He is being strategic about the playoffs and the importance of having a backup to Jared Goff if Goff gets injured playing on Monday night in a meaningless game. But he's not being strategic about keeping Goff out of that game and making sure he can't get injured against the 49ers.
You think about Hendon Hooker, too. They had many opportunities to put him in at the end of the game, at certain points of the game, to get him that experience. And that's why it's so important when you see, coaches taking starters out, putting other guys in. It's important for those guys to get that experience, to get those reps, because that's how you build your confidence.
Well, and that's that same stubbornness I'm talking about, Rodney. They're up by 35 points in the second half, and they keep their starters out there. They keep running up the score. They keep stepping on the throat because they want to have that mentality as bullies, and that's fine until half your roster is on injured reserve because you didn't know when to pull your guys off the field and take the W. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.